It's been 2 weeks in YouTube jail, and I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back after being put in the doghouse. Uh, so, um, unfortunately, this channel is now on its second strike, and to my understanding, 3 strikes and you're out. I know people that have had their entire channels deleted by YouTube, which I feel is criminal, like literally criminal. That's my property, and you don't have any right to destroy my property. You can, put it somewhere and I can go get it, but to delete it, like I would not. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, getting back to the situation here with my story, and just trying to get back in the flow here, guys. 2 weeks out is very weird, and I've had a number of other situations going on that have finally resolved, and so I'm looking to try to get back to something more regular. I have set up a Rumble channel, and I believe that's where I'm going to do the spicy stuff. Um, as far as YouTube, I will probably just keep it clean. I mean, it's not like I did anything really criminal. I've never, you know how it is. It's like if you say anything positive or in favor of white demographics, they consider that hate speech. And why? Why is that? Let's logic that through. Let's see. Stop immigration because we're being replaced. Oh no, that's just a conspiracy theory. Oh, okay. I mean, you guys know the arguments. You know how the bullshit goes. But there's no, This is a these type of platforms are they're literally totalitarian. They're everything that both the left and the right complain about. The left would call it fascist. That they have total control over what you do and say, and have da da da. And I suppose the right would probably say that as well because they don't know what true fascism is. But just the annoying situation of having to live under this bullshit is just so fucking annoying. I can't stand it. But and here's the other thing. I set up my Rumble, and I go ahead and press the button that migrates all your YouTube videos over. And apparently YouTube is now mm, preventing that from happening. So um yeah, so now there you go. Now a while back I had an Odyssey channel. I still have one, but I'll explain. It's kind of screwed up. So I had the channel and then I deleted it at one point. But when you delete a channel, the your it you never really delete it. Like they still have your data, and so if you try to start a channel again, and you're using the same email, which I was, then they associate that email with your old content. So if you try to put up new content, or rather try to migrate the YouTube videos over or what have you, then they're like, oh well, that you can't do that because that's associated with a different email. And I'm like, that's my email, asshole. It's like so I'm out of Odyssey. You can't go there now. I mean, I'd have to completely create a whole new. I guess I suppose all I'd have to do is really start a new email or something. But I just annoyed with like how freaking stupid and complicated these things are. Like, maybe I'm lazy. Is that what it is? Let's blame it on me. But it just feels retarded. So I'm not gonna do that, I guess. I do have a lot of videos that are there. They're kind of buried. It's like if you can find the account, then you got to go to a certain, page on the account, and then there's a lot of old videos from here. But they're, I mean, I've added a lot since then, and Odyssey has not updated it. So whatever. Anyway, I'm just kind of looking to turn YouTube into more of the normie safe uh, art stream stuff, and then if I'm going to do more spicy political videos, I'll go over to what you call it, Rumble. I don't know. I mean, this is what it is. This is the world we're living in. A lot of interesting things going on. With new developments, while Congress is passing a law to stop anyone from criticizing Israel. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about those things on this stream. I don't know. Am I totally silenced? Anyway, let me say this. I'll back up a little bit. If Augustus Invictus, he is a lawyer in our sphere who uh, he and I communicated years ago. He knows who I am. I've been wanting to have him on my show, but whatever. It's just sometimes things just don't match up or whatever. But anyway, he's trying to kind of come back, I guess, a bit, and he's got a new show that's just like a lawyer show. It's essentially him talking about legal things. And yeah, it's still our stuff, our movement, our there's like nothing on the page to look at here. The Great White Ape is here. Where you been? Peter stream with you. Okay, so just a quick update. I was in YouTube jail for 2 weeks, and last Monday we tried to stream just exclusively from Patriarch's channel, and for some reason, like, I can't explain this, but all I can tell you is that I couldn't connect to him. Like, some StreamYard and YouTube have some kind of a relationship, and they recognized that it was me coming in, and they blocked me from being on his show. So there was no audio, and it just, we tried and tried and tried like everything. It couldn't make it happen. We are doing a show tomorrow. We will be doing the Patriarch Art Live show tomorrow. So that's going to be back on track. But yeah, it's just these draconian, totalitarian systems that YouTube is using is really gross. You know what I mean? And there's so much going on. I suppose it's, maybe they're cracking down because things are so crazy right now. Maybe they, it's just the circle closing, or the circle tightens, or whatever you want to call it. Um, I forget the guy's name. He's the Dilbert cartoonist. You know who I'm talking about? The bald guy. He was pretty big for a while, like not long ago, for all his hot takes and stuff. And there's a clip going around from his what was it, from his Rumble channel, where he goes ballistic on Congress, like absolutely ballistic on Congress about this law to not criticize Israel. I mean, the dude was, he's swearing, and he's F Israel, F ADL, F anybody who votes for this in Congress, Republicans, I'm going after you. I mean, he lost his mind, and he's like, if you're going to make a law to make me not criticize the people you want me to like, you're literally doing the opposite. You're making me hate those people. And this is where we're at. This is where the Overton window is right now, is that they meaning brackets, they are sabotaging themselves by like flipping out like this and trying to somehow use the law. They have no how do I put this? They can't, like, stand up for themselves. That they can't say the truth. They can't defend themselves because you know the data is out. Like, it's all very clear. And so, instead of defending themselves and trying to have an argument or like a debate about XYZ, no, it's like, no, I'm going to make it illegal for you to even talk about this. It's like, what could tell you, more? What could show you more that, they are wrong, or that they're lying, or that they're evil, or something, something, something. Anyway, a couple chats here. We got a couple friends back. I'm sorry I've been gone. Good morning, INRI. Happy Mother's Day to all Western moms out there. Great White Ape with wow, that's what the hell? Wow, that's crazy. Oh, it's 1 p.m. Whoops. Scott Adams, I think his name is Scott Adams. Yes, yeah, we're talking about that guy. Yeah, and I like so. What was the thing that he came out on? It was something to do with like Black Lives Matter or one of those. It was related to African Americans and like that whole trope, that whole issue. And I just can't remember, but it was like really hot for a good while there. And then he kind of faded away. There were a lot of memes that came out, with him talking about that. Maybe it was George Floyd or something. I don't remember. Anyway, so now he's like, you know, going after the what should we call them? The blues, the news, the cruise, the who's. How about the who's? I like that. I think it's kind of a clever little rhyme. Mm. And like it's really good when people who are that well known and have that much influence in the normie sphere, when they are pointing out these things that they're helping us. They're helping. That's the whole thing. No one ever listens to us. But then when some, you know, conservative grifter figures it out, it's like, oh my God, amazing. But I have a theory about that. I got notes on all these matters. Yeah, yeah. Well, share some of your notes there, Speedrunner. That would be cool to hear. Um, where was I? It's just, other people are fighting our battle for us. I mean, Candace Owens has been going nuts. Um, Stu Peters is already on our side. Of course, Nick Fuentes is back on Twitter. For the record, I'm not a Groiper. I'm not in the Fuentes camp. I am sort of for anybody that is for us or doing work for us in the regard that, like, you know, I appreciate that, and I won't sort of counter signal that. Um, I do think that Fuentes is suspicious in terms of like the potential of being like a Fed asset. Um, Tough to say. It's very tough to say, but it's kind of out there. One of those floating questions that anyone who knows his whole history and background and stuff, you'd be able to see how that is suspicious. But in the meantime, he's the guy who's really the forefront of the so-called dissident right in the normie sphere. So with that being the case, um, all eyes on Fuentes for a while. Again, I can't say how it's going to go, if it's some sort of a honeypot thing, because like, why would he, just as Congress is making this law, um, uh, Elon Musk brings the most outspoken counter-Semitic back onto Twitter. Like the timing of that is very fucking suspicious, guys. Come on, that's very suspicious. Now, Then another big thing happened. This is really huge news, but again, is it all part of is it like a honeypot or is it a psyop? We're so used to being psyoped that you can never really tell. You know what I'm saying? Um anyway, what's his face? Come on. Not Fuentes, Musk, Elon Musk creates a fake account and goes on to Nick Fuentes's Twitter Spaces, and he's under a fake name, but like it's he didn't disguise his voice at all. It's clearly Elon Musk talking to Nick Fuentes, and I think that's good. On the surface of it, it's good because it seems to signal or indicate that Elon Musk is actually on our side and that he's kind of playing along with like the fake account thing. I can't say. I mean, these things you just don't ever really know. Um, but there's a certain excitement that comes with that. It's pretty. If Elon now, here's the thing. So let's break down. Let's do like a profile of Elon Musk. Here's like a brilliant autist. The guy he's autistic and he's a genius. So what does that mean? That means someone of that mindset or of that mental orientation, if you will, they are only about facts. Everything in the world is black and white, and they just want to know the data. You know what I'm saying? So if you take the mind that created SpaceX and Tesla cars and you know, free speech on Twitter, if that's a joke or not, I don't know. But and then apply it to like figuring out the dissident right. It's not going to be long before he finds out the truth, about what everything we've been saying, all the data, da da da. So that being the case, it's fairly clear that he's probably come to the realization about, who runs the world, the way the system works, da da da. I mean, again, this is the guy that created Neuralink, so I'm not trying to like, yeah, yeah, he's our guy. I'm not saying that. Um, pretty much I always have like a healthy suspicion. But nevertheless, it's like, okay, this happened. He got Fuentes back. Everyone right now is pushing Musk to get Jared Taylor back on Twitter. And I know that Taylor had a court case against Twitter, which I know Twitter's got to have like unlimited amounts of money, you know, and they can just take a court case and just like bury it basically, that put it in limbo forever. So we'll see that now if Musk puts Jared Taylor back on Twitter, that is a very major plus. That is a very, very big plus and would give me a stronger sense of trust in him. So I don't quite know yet, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on Elon Musk. Hey, Donardo, hope you've been all right. I have to report I am getting better and better. So praise God. Praise God for that because I was in a pretty terrifying, I didn't talk about it, but I was in a very terrifying situation. And I'm happy to say that I'm out of that. I still have to be diligent, but I have dodged a bullet once again in my crazy life. Anyway, that was very ambiguous. Hey, okay, so moving on. Adrian Dittman. Adrian Ditt, yeah. And it's with two N's. That's another weird thing about that name is like, yeah, I'm Adrian Dittman, and I just created a new account, and now I'm talking to Nick Fuentes. Like, but I'm nobody. Just don't mind the man behind the curtain. Do do do. Anyway, um, so what can you say? Adrian, Adrian. But yeah. So and he seemed to be very. So what is? Oh, Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I see the symbols that you're putting on there. I know there's a lot of. I've talked to Groypers. I was actually on a Groyper space on Twitter a while back, and I was really getting into it too with these guys. And I said, like a lot of people think Fuentes is like a closet homo, and they got pretty mad about that. They were like, people see these clips of him making these jokes out of context, and then they're just trying to smear him. Like the guy is a devout Catholic. He's not blah 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 whatever whatever. And I don't know, but like for me, I've always like to me that's just a gross thing to joke about. Like I don't want to hear jokes like that. I think that they just kind of make me sick. So like but for some reason that generation, I don't know, he's not a millennial. What is he? A Zoomer? Like that's like one of the biggest things that they joke about. And why do they do that? I don't know. They seem to think like making people uncomfortable is funny or something. I don't know. I don't know. It just to me it's weird and stupid and gross and very very juvenile. But there you go. I mean, he's young. He's a young guy. Um, where am I going with this? Let's move on. So Speedrun says, I don't know, man. Pretty sure Elon is just another big boy provided to the little guys to steer everyone into circles. I'm not saying Elon is our guy. I definitely feel that. I'm just watching the Elon meter, like how far right is he gonna go, and what does it mean? Speedrunner says I'm pretty skeptical of Musk's autism too. He's not that smart, in my opinion. Great con artist, though. Feel free to disagree. I got some errands to run. Uh, I I've heard the cases for that. I'm aware of what you're saying, and I'm not like I don't have I'm not gonna like argue it or whatever. But yeah, there it is. There you go, and there you go. Okay, Alfred. Okay, buddy. Jared Taylor needs to come back. So does people like Thomas Rousseau. Oh, you dude, big time. Thomas Rousseau's been putting out some great videos recently. Um, People will, do clips of his videos and then circulate them on Twitter. So that's kind of how his stuff gets on Twitter. But anyway, what am I saying? So one of his recent clips was essentially kind of like a "Who are we?" kind of clip. Like, who is Patriot Front? What are we about? What are our goals? What do we stand for? And it was very very well done, very professional. He's always extremely professional. Like he's just never raises his voice. He never swears like me. He he's just a kind of a southern gentleman. You know what I mean? Um, and he acts very respectfully, even when people are kind of trying to like get him to say something stupid or whatever crack. How like journalists will try to like say like, what do you say when people call you a Nazi? That kind of dumbass shit. Um and then so like putting out this video, he's basically saying, listen, whatever people say or think about us, we are not going away. We are a permanent part of the political landscape. Whenever something's going on, we will be there. We will show up. This is what we do. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. And every time we're out and about, doing our marches and what have you, it's just going to remind you that we're here and we're making a statement on XYZ, whatever the things are. So that's that's very cool. But what's better, of course, is him saying like these are the things that we stand for. you know, like we're not just some bunch of dumbasses walking around with or whatever with masks on or something. Um, and of course there are those groups. I forget the name of them. They have like the red and black. Oh, they're like a neo-Nazi group, and they have swastikas and stuff. They're in Florida. They got the one dude with tattoos all over his face that you know is like a proven Fed asset. It's like- so those guys exist so that the small hats in power can say, "Oh, look, see, we need more laws. We have to criminalize this." Um, Another thing in recent news is that I've been kind of making some headway, not headway, but kind of hanging out among the Comicsgate uh, scene a little more. And again, I'm a big Comicsgate fan. Um, Big fan of all those guys. It's not racial. It's not that kind of thing. It's not dissident right. Um, it's comics, is what it is. It's make comics fun again. So on that theme, where am I going with this? So I just I'm just kind of checking out people's threads and hearing what they have to say. And a lot of these guys are obviously sort of MAGA conservative Republican guys. That's part of the whole thing. Not all of them. I would say probably most of them are not really overtly political. They just don't want to have woke agenda in their books. And you know maybe they worked at Marvel and now they can't anymore because green haired cousin has taken their jobs, or that kind of stuff. So where am I going with this? So I'm kind of fishing around, checking out people's comments and this and that, and I discovered that some of them are just as, how do I say, like they're like woefully stuck in the matrix. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the things that I'm hearing in response to, say, the Israel's war on Palestine is grotesquely, you know, Fox News tier stuff that shows no actual understanding, and it's just they're still on the farm, if you will. But it's I'm thinking like I don't really want to go in there and like be a bull in a china shop, like I'll be me. I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna change who I am. But I'm not gonna go in there and try to change anyone else, though. You know what I mean? Like we'll just kind of let the Overton window move and take its own course and see how that comes around. Um, I think when I finally do publish and start marketing into that sphere, people will eventually find out, the content that I have, what I do, what I say, um, and you know, it'll come clear where I am on the political spectrum. Um, and whatever, like I'm not huffy about that. I'm not worried about that. Um, I can't say for sure how that's going to affect sales or whatever. Artists have to say what they have to say, and that's it. And like silencing an artist is like taking away our oxygen. It's you can't, you just can't live like that. It's pretty weird if you think about it. Not weird, but like I think from the average person's point of view, when everyone's just making money and going from one pleasure to the next, there's no sense of the collectivism, I guess, or like nationhood and community in the sense that I have. I think long term they'll prop. Okay, Didymus is saying, I think long term they will prop up Fuentes as Trump type character. I agree. There's that I feel is definitely part of the mix. Is the left is already the Democrats are already like turning Fuentes into the big boogeyman and like this is Trump. This guy had dinner with Trump and these are Trump's followers and blah, 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 like try to get us all. I mean, whatever. I don't care. That's what they do. That's their job. Um, it's not a big surprise. But I guess I call it news fodder. You know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, we gotta have something to talk about. Well, let's put this guy on Twitter so that we have something to complain about. Okay, now let's react and react and react. You know, and that gets back to the theory that I was about to talk about. I feel like conservative incorporated has run out of things to say. Like outrage porn. Just it can't like they've been doing that for 8 years or something. So like, what's next? Well, we are next. They're going to have to turn farther right to get more content. They're going to be stealing our talking points and acting as if like Candace Owens like, what were those books that the Nazis were burning? Candace Owens, oh, you're so fresh. Where else are they going to get these talking points? Like we've already done all the work, but of course they can't associate with us. Is Joel Davis on Twitter? I can't imagine that he is, but like, there'd be a guy for. Let's have Joel Davis on the Candace Owens show. That I'd like to see. Um, let's see. Hold on a second here. Uh, Alfred says, "Yeah, I agree. Gross stuff to joke about all the time. Also kept people like Ali, Alexander, and Milo around. See, this is, dude. You freaking, you just destroyed it. Ali Alexander was like exposed as like a gay pedo, and then of course Milo, we all know, is a flamer, and so it's like, what the hell are you doing with these people? Like, why would you be associating with these people? You know what I mean? I could see Milo trying to, kind of be. You could see how he was trying to grift into the Kanye thing. And like I don't know if you remember, but he got a new hairstyle where he dyed his hair black and had like a fashy hairstyle, like a German fashy kind of style. like, oh yeah, that'll trick us. Oh sure, now he's our guy now. Oh my god, so stupid. Um anyway, moving on. Dynamis says Fuentes could have a gorgeous young wife and two kids by really in the whole like straight or not thing. I'm not, it's not the topic for my show, my streams. It's just not something I want to indulge in. It's kind of a gross thing, but I really, the day that he gets married, I think, or starts dating or some fucking thing, I'll feel a little more trustworthy of him. But anyway, um, sus beyond sus. Alfred, good to have you here, Alfred. Nuclear Grifter is a good new Gen Z channel. Nuclear Grifter. I will have to look that up. Thanks for the tip. Hippocratic Oath is back. Rumble is a good choice. All my favorite channels are there or moving there. It's like when the Small Hats told the Gazans to move south where they will be safe. Yeah, I know there's already like tons of great content there. It's just all you guys are here. So like we're gonna have to have like a show where it's just a mass exodus of like, okay, go to my Rumble and subscribe. So I can like bring my whole family over. The Great White Ape, yes, 1488. White pills all around. Joel Davis was on Twitter as of a month ago, so back. Oh, that's good. As far as I know, would love to see Elijah Schaefer facilitate an interview with him and Candace. So if I'm getting this right, Elijah Schaefer, he's also one of these kind of right wing grifters that is noticing. Am I right about that? I believe I'm right about that. Again, it's like if you care about truth and you seek truth and you want to speak truth, then this is the fucking truth, and like you're gonna have to get there eventually. You know what I mean? Um, so that's what it is, babe. Yeah, he seems to be okay. Um, so like that excites me more in a way than say seeing say Joel Davis make some hot takes. Like Joel Davis had a really really great. Oh, he was in some kind of debate with like a Muslim guy, and he just like ratioed him like super hard, and it was like phenomenal. And that's for us. That's like fun clips or whatever. But it's more impactful when someone who's actually you know uh in the normie right going like, oh my god, I just figured this out, like holy crap, you know this is this is something that I can't say without getting deplatformed. You get the idea. Sorry. um, in that should be drawing in that talking zone right now. Let's see. So what else is up? Yeah, I've been busy with some ooh projects. It's the kind of thing where I've always got a lot going on, but I don't talk about things that are not like solid yet. Like I'm doing this thing and it's going to be great if it works out. I'd rather be like, hey, it worked out, and now I have a great announcement to share with you. So that's more. So they've got sort of things in development, if you will, and hopefully they work out. So I have faith that they will. The the comics that I was doing, the freelance job, that is about to start up again at the end of the month. So I will be back, not doing Militia Man. Like this right here is Militia Man. But I'm gonna jump off this and get back to the freelance job. I think there's like four more issues to go on that, and then wrap that up for good, I guess. And just get back to my own stuff. It's be honest with you, it's just it sucks having to have a full-time job and not do this full time. Like that's my dream. That's what I am, kind of hoping, or rather working towards. I'm sorry. Um, Making such a thing happen is it's a pretty big call. It's not something that happens out of nowhere. It would, take certain resources, and you get the idea. But we'll see how it goes. Mm, all right. Let's see what's next here. Maybe I'll do some inking instead. Zoom out a bit. But yeah, I just wanted to get a show up just to say like, hey, I'm back. Um, it's pretty frustrating. So the what was it? Why was I in jail? So I did a show um, with Andreas Johansson, and it was looking at the speech by Kai Moros on Sweden. So our cause is Sweden's cause is our cause, and you know, I got another strike, and I got in YouTube jail for that. So, I mean, you guys know who Kai Moros is. You know who Andreas Johansson is. You can do the math. Alfred says, I'm struggling in trying to write. My full time job makes it difficult to get in the zone. Yeah. I feel like I read somewhere that the enemy of art is interruption. I think that's an interesting phrase. It's an interesting idea. And we kind of have to set aside a time and a place to do our work and not be interrupted because it is a flow state. Um, that's why I'm more into doing inking while I'm talking to you guys because I don't have to concentrate like so much on the drawing. It's already drawn. I can just sort of do the inking side. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's really hard to be an artist, of any kind. Hey, buddy, the great white ape. Oh, yeah, I guess you're saying hi to Alfred. Alfred, are you published on the Bizarre Archives? Is that the community you're in? I don't know. I get a lot of Bizarre Archives guys on my channel, on my show, in my chat, I should say, which is pretty cool. I just like advertise the hell out of Bizarre Archives on my Twitter. Um, Dave wanted to start his own comic book company, and I don't know whatever happened to that. It's really, you can only imagine me like, wow, yeah, that'd be freaking awesome. But didn't happen, I guess. These things cost a lot of freaking money. It's not like you just, oh, let's make a comic book company. Um, and then the whole thing about sales is another thing too. Like, what's the community? Who's buying? Why are they buying? What are they buying? You know, Big Dave. Yes, big. It's your boy, Big Dave. um, yes, sirree. All right, all right. It's your boy, Big Dave. My buddy Jack White does a very funny Big Dave impersonation. Like he gets the voice and all that. um, so like I've got friends that have their own channels, of course, like Big Dave and like Yiz has a channel and stuff. And I always feel compelled to share, like news stories that I find. But then I'm like, yeah, this is someone else's channel. Like, do they want that? Is that I mean, we're all in the same club, if you will. We're all in the same movement. But some people are more political than others. Some people are more like, "Oh, let's just have fun, or let's just talk about art projects and something something. And I feel like in the case of like Yiz's channel is it's I feel a little more comfortable sharing the political stuff because she, you know, talks politics on her shows and stuff. By the way, I have like a regular Monday slot on her show called Discordant Dragons. I usually do it at the last Monday of the month. Let's see. Alfred says, "No, I'm Seven Serpents. Just changed my name." Oh, okay. On YouTube to match my other social media. I gotcha. Great way to oh 7 years, good content. Yes, yeah. She started a new show with this guy. He's Australian, but he lives in England. And um, and maybe Newsfist, I think is his name. He goes by Newsfist. I think that's his name. Am I right? I'm kind of new to him, but he's on the Discord and Dragon shows. He's like one of these super brain guys, you know, very, very, very well read. Um, you know, and you know, he's opinionated like anybody. You know, we're all opinionated in our own ways and stuff. So that's he's not a bad guy. He's not like a jerk or creep or anything. He's a good guy. You know. Me speaking for myself, I tend to be like I'm leaning away from the kind of intellectual sphere a lot in a sense, just because like I feel like we're already like we don't need any more of that. You know, we need artists and people who will, you know, and activists and organizers and people that will get, you know, get us beyond where we are. Um, we have mostly journalists and intellectuals, I feel, and I think that's good, but I think it's also a kind of limitation. You know what I mean? It's like where are we going to go with just that? You know, we need more. We need doers, not thinkers and talkers. We have way too many thinkers and talkers, and I'm one to an extent. You know, I am at least a culture builder, culture creator. So, you know, that's a kind of doing. Um, you know, there's other doers that are more like, you know, how to take care of chickens, you know, that kind of like, you know, how to collect rainwater, you know. Oh 07 equals salute to you and Yiz. Oh, that's nice. Cool. I've never seen the oh 07. Oh, I get it. Like it's like you know, like an army salute where you go, you know, yes, sir. I see the image in the oh 07 there. That's cool. What else? But yeah, so Yiz's show, she has it's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons theme, you know, where there's like, you know, pick a card and answer some questions and something, you know. She makes it fun. She just has a generally a good energy, you know what I mean? And she keeps us on track. You know, we don't say anything that's too controversial. Uh, it's not, you know, like, you know, you lean away from the Fed posty stuff. You know what I'm talking about. She is, I would say, part of the no white guilt community. So there's a very strong framework of Jason's kind of philosophy and I don't know. I guess that's, you know, what it is. So things are framed more in terms of like anti-whites rather than small hats and, you know, this, you know, that kind of thing. So that's that's some murky waters. I don't want to get too far into that because I generally don't counter signal people that are working towards our demographic benefit, even though we all have different thoughts on how to get there. You know, what's good, what's not good. Um, it's kind of like the pagan Christian question, like, you know, that's a big divider, you know. I can talk about it, I just like it's not a it's just I generally try to how do I say, like, how do I put this? Like, people who insist that I agree with them or whatever is just like, that's your problem kind of thing. I'm not, I can't bend to your will. I am not going to be that guy. I respect you. I'm not trying to hurt you, or whatever. I'll hear you out or whatever. But there it is. So, like, here's an interesting topic. What's his name? Joel Davis had an interview recently where he was talking about how he's abandoned Christianity, and he gave Catholicism like a really good try. Like, he talks in some detail, about you know getting confirmed and going to mass and doing the rosary and partaking in all these rituals and this and that and the other thing. And then in the end, feeling like disingenuous about it and letting it go. And his one of the things that he was trying to attempt to tap into is he's like, Christianity has influenced and shaped Western civilization for centuries, and it's an important aspect of our culture, our history, blah blah blah. So I want to make an effort to, be part of this and tap into this, da da da. So, but he somehow couldn't really make it work for himself. And I'd really have to play the clip for you to hear him represent himself. I can't really paraphrase it exactly, but my view on his particular experience and why he left Christianity is because there's different kinds of people with different kinds of learning styles and mental intellectual orientations. And the guy's a super brain. He's a super brain. So people who are that intellectual, I feel, are more locked into a logic framework, and that's not so bad. But we're not only that. We have kind of two sides to our nature, and one is intuitive and emotional and subjective and human. And when I say human, I kind of mean like not strictly scientific, if that makes sense. Like, if science doesn't measure it, then it's not real. That kind of thinking. So we need these people. It's good to have that type of intelligence. It's all fine and well, but when experiencing God subjectively, you overthink everything and you can't get past yourself. Like, you can't get out of the way and allow your heart and your spirit to speak, so to speak. Um, and that there's many such cases. Like, there's just other people that have had this type of experience talk about this type of experience. And for me, I feel like, well, it's okay for you to find whatever the language is that you need to have kind of have a spirituality, if you will. Um, some people refer to God as source, and to me, that's very creepy and impersonal. Um, I I I agree that God is the source, but, like, I don't know. It's kind of like if you called me biological matter, like, no, I'm Donald, like, it just dehumanizes me. It takes away, like, who I am. And I had an interesting kind of discussion about God, the existence of God, the nature of God with a very close friend of mine, and he's like a guy, one of the few guys that I really respect intellectually. I shouldn't say respect, I should say look up to, because like there's a lot of guys I respect or whatever, but like, there's very few people that really can show me a new way of seeing or thinking. Um, sorry, it's true. anyway, 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 so he's more in the kind of materialist camp. I don't mean to call him materialist because he's not a materialist, but I suppose science camp, if you will, like that type of thinking. And I was kind of saying, like there's how did I put it to him? So, the in the Bible, there's the piece about, God made man in his image. Um, my perspective is that, God's the sum of all consciousness. Consciousness needs to create material objective reality in order to experience itself. And this happens through man, Um, are we the only beings in the universe? No. There's lots of little minutia that we could debate on and get into, and that's fine. I actually like, those kinds of discussions. They're interesting. Um, but that's like the dumbed down version of what I'm trying to say. Um, anyway, the way I explained it to my friend was so much more impressive. Yeah, that's what happens when you're inking. Anyway, Hippocratic Oath sounds like Socrates' critique of the gods. Good old Joel Davis for investigating. Mike Smith is here. Hi, Mike. Donald, that's best explanation of God I've heard. Wow, gosh, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Um, that's essentially how I generally start. When I have this discussion with people, is I'll just say straight out, like, God is the sum of all consciousness, and try to think of like one consciousness, a field of consciousness that knows all things from all dimensions, all universes simultaneously, and knows and feels these things, like that is so far past human comprehension that it's not, and then more so than that, there's this thing of what I call spiritual technology, which is that to, the scientists or the anthropologists would say, "Oh well, you're anthropomorphizing God, you're personifying God, and this is a force of creation, and it's a quantum field, and science, 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 science talk, this stuff. That's fine, it is those things, but I would argue that God is also us. God is also, a kind of a human consciousness, um obviously far beyond human consciousness, in it's the divine, if you will, but what is the spiritual technology that makes us understand these things? So there you go. I mean, if you how do we put this, I- it's important for us humans to anthropomorphize God, if you will. Now, I it's very strange. It's kind of like you can imagine something and then that thing will become real to you. So you might say, oh, well, but isn't it illusory by nature? Is it? Yes and no. Meaning, if you fabricated something through your mind, your belief, your faith, your thought, your feeling, your subjective experience, and it is real to, and all for all intents and purposes, then what's the problem? Where's the discussion? What's the debate there? Um, we're not robots, we're not aliens. We are humans, and we need that kind of human experience of God. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. I mean, I know that I could explain myself much, much better if I had like an hour to just like write it all down and then read it to you. but I'm just shooting from the hip here. Mike says, I don't pray often, but when I do, I pray to Crom. Very good. Hippocratic oath. Is that Kull's god Crom? That's Conan's god. Crom is strong on his mountain. He laughs at your god and enjoys the lamentation of your women. Yes. It's a Conan thing, guys. It's a Conan thing. Anyway, moving forward, let's. It's always cool to have some good convo with you guys. Joking around. Glad to be back streaming. So I don't know. One thing I hate in life is when you got a really really good routine, and then some shit just comes and like knocks you off your bicycle, and then you have to like get back on and get pedaling again and get back to where you were, and the time and effort it takes to do that is such a fucking pain in the ass. It's like, man, I was being so productive and making good headway and feeling really good. And then, life throws you its fucking curveballs. Fortunately for me, those things have worked out and I'm okay in most ways. Um, yeah, for now. Anyway, there it is, and there you go. And now you know. So I'm looking to set up an interview with a woman who goes by the name Witch Mother, and she is part of the. It's kind of like the heathen culture within the dissident right, and it's also like a kind of a like a female zone, if you will, with lots of crafters and women who do jewelry and just all kinds of crafting and stuff. So um, her craft work is exquisite. It's like wow, it's really 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 good. But she has how do I say? She literally does practice a kind of heathen magic, and I'm very interested in learning about it. Um, Apparently, there's a lot of secrecy, which is normal. I know how that even in like Buddhism and stuff, there's certain things you're, kind of like forbidden to talk about. Otherwise, it'll kind of, jinx the power of it. So, but her and I were on a show sort of recently. It was Lord Wolfshield had one of his movie review shows, The Northman, and so anyway, we were on there. That's kind of how we met. I've heard of her through my friend Jay Ladark, who is again one of our big content producers, and the White Art Collective and arts and crafts and dissident right and white positive and all that stuff. It all comes together. So I said, hey, like I should get you on my show, talk about your work. I'm personally more interested in learning about the um, heathen occult. That to me is I'm interested in the occult in general. And when I say occult, I don't mean Satanism, just to make that extremely exquisitely clear. Um, but I should say mystery schools is what is, that's more the proper term. Da-da-da-dee. So anyway, but it's a little tricky because I was like, hey, I want to learn, how do you do what you do? I want to compare notes with what I know and see how it goes, and then it was like, well, there's a lot I can't tell you. And I'm like, well, then that's why I wanted to have you on the show. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. So I don't know what I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not really sure I want to do a show just talking about earrings and necklaces and stuff. I want to get into something that's more meaty, that has more bang to it. Also, I think one of the themes that I'm very, very interested in and that she can speak on intelligently is the topic of, I guess, like the feminine principle. And, there's been some discussion about, there's a kind of a lot of misogyny basically in the movement, and that's not cool. And I'm not sure that I'm like the guy that's going to go out there and stop it or something or other, but it's definitely something I'm against. Where this has no place in our movement. Um, but I'll also say that men in general are very angry about feminism, and I think that unfortunately that comes across a lot in the right wing, in our sphere, and it alienates women. Even though there are women, you know what I mean, they are on our side. They're right wing. They're conservative, but they get a lot of this angry toxicity and shit, and that's you see how counterproductive that is. Anyway, Germany Vril. So she is more Anglo. I believe she's her form of, is it Druidism? I can't say for sure. I don't believe it has anything to do with Vril. But according to her, it is like she has the ancestral roots, and also like it's like a practice that her family has passed down over like hundreds of generations. So she's like totally legit. Um, what I'm gonna do is set up, now that I'm out of YouTube jail. I'll set up a kind of list of questions and forward it to her, and then she'll be like, I can't answer this, I can't answer that, and however that plays out, then I'll see. Like if my questions cannot be answered, I don't really know why I would have her on the show, because that's what I want to learn. That's what I want to get into. One of the unique aspects of the Donald Kent Art channel is that I like to get into esoterics. I'm really interested in all forms of spiritual technology because it is part of the search for truth. Okay. And how I understand it is that I'm always looking at, like, well, what are the cosmic laws that, how do you harness cosmic laws in your tradition? Like, what is it that you do in your form of quote magic that utilizes cosmic law, and so like the hermetic principles, for example. And we'll see. I think it'll be really fascinating to find that out. um, if if this works. I certainly have a lot of love and respect for her. So it's not like if I were to not have her on the show, it would just simply because I didn't think it was a good match. Not because like I'm mad at her or something, some stupid thing like that. The we've talked about having Jay on as well, and I'm not against that, but it's the question of what does Jay want to talk about. So if she feels like, yeah, this is something I'm interested in, uh then it'll all come together. I hope it does, like I want it to, but I just haven't gotten around to kind of getting all that hoopla set up and whatever. I'm always overwhelmed. I've always got like, oh, you have to do this and you gotta do that and you gotta do this and you gotta do that, and the things that are piling up around me are fucking gargantuan. So it's really, you know, like right now I should be doing something else instead of inking, doing this show. Like I got stuff I got to get done, but I'm like I haven't done this in a long time. So Hollandier is here. Hot dog. Donald Kent stream right in time for dinner. Oh, how cool. Good to see you again, Hollandier. Any new music coming out, buddy? Let's see. Alfred says Formscapes is one of my favorite for philosophy and uh, esoterics. Esoterics is probably what you meant to say. Um, and there you go. So I'll have to look that up. It looks like you've got some good channels that you watch. There's a few that I frequent, and then there's others that just kind of pop up in the algorithm. There's this one channel. I don't remember the title of it because I'm not sure I want to frequent the channel. But I look up a lot on Gnosticism, and I found a channel that looked really good on that topic. It goes into exactly the stuff that I'm interested in. But I noticed something a little slightly off with the guy that does the show, and I'm like, why do you wear that little hat? Like, you're talking about Christian Gnosticism, but you got a little hat on there. What's that all about? And he says, because I'm spiritual. Like, oh, okay. Is that why? So I looked him up and did some background research, and his wife is uh, a small hat extremist activist, political activist. It's like you know, you know, if your wife is an extreme activist for the little hats, then it doesn't bode well for you in terms of like, okay, here you're doing all this deep research on the Bible and Yahweh and Kabbalah and Christian Gnosticism and enlightening us on all these things. And you know, if I know that's your political orientation, then I know that this is. I would say that it's highly likely that you are. What's the word I'm looking for? You're running interference. You're running interference on these topics. If it's like, oh well, we need to have an esoteric discussion about what Christians think or feel or do or say, identity, history, da da da. Well, look at this guy's research. He read all the books. Let's just trust what he had to say. When there's that kind of political bias, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's like, of course, you know, it's not. You get where I'm going with this. I mean, people that have this type of biases, they're gonna fudge the numbers, as they say. But and I was like, so when are you gonna do a show on the Talmud? That'd be awesome. I want to tune into that. Zero, no reply. Looking at some content, some comments. Been too busy playing D&D with Fornull. Oh, neat. To compose music. Sorry, band is canceled. T-Rad Dad, ladies and gentlemen. He says, how did you get timed out, man? These hall monitors are diligent. I know. I'm so angry about it. The video I did on Kai Moros, I did 2 weeks ago. I've been in jail for 2 weeks here. I did, a show on one of Kai Moros's speech, and so you can only imagine what they said about it. Oh, it's bad, bad, bad. White people bad, white men bad, 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 bad. Go to the corner. You go to the corner. You're bad. So I did that. I was sitting in the corner for 2 weeks, but I'll be honest with you, like I'm on a second strike here, and I don't think I don't want uh, all of my videos to be deleted, which I know can and will do, and has happened. Um, so I can't allow that to happen. That's why I'm going to start the Rumble and get the Rumble going. Are you ready to rumble? So that's what's what. At the moment, I'm just kind of recalibrating and focusing more on art, trying to get this going again. Splattercat, yeah, he's back. Donald just jumped in and saw you were back. Glad to see your stream again. I was worried you got banned. I know. Well, I'm like this close to getting banned, so that's why I'm changing my platform. Okay. Sorry, Splattercat. Oh, you were banned. Damn, I forgot after Kai video with Hey Buddy. I do that. Yeah. Actually, I spoke to Kai about it, and he feels like horrible. Like he's like, I apologize. I feel I'm responsible for this. He's felt very bad that that happened. I'm like, dude, I mean, it's not you, man. Like this isn't you at all. Like this isn't like this. Just to stop. Like don't talk like that. It's not your fault. Just relax. And we're gonna do more, but we're just not gonna do it on YouTube. So the Kai speech was inspirational towards the end. I wanted to clip it. Yeah, I wish you would have, man. That would have been great. T-Rad says older generations may be stuck on hippie, but younger folks have to see our situation. I want to say something funny about that. I had this really funny idea for a comic book character called Hippie Nazi. Hippie Nazi. I mean, it's like because like things are so convoluted right now. You've got like you know how like for example, all these leftists on campus are super anti-Israel now because of they're genociding the Palestinians, that whole thing, and they're sort of kind of the hippies per se, right? But yet since they're against Israel, that makes them Nazis now too, right? So hippie Nazi, I don't know. I just think I think it would be funny to create a character like that because it it could be a fun way to lampoon the contradictions and the misunderstandings. So, for example, like fascists are extremely strong on the point of environmental protection. It's like a huge part of fascism is protecting the environment. Um, what else? Like, just like those types of contradictions. I think it would be fun to create some cognitive dissonance. I don't have time to do that, but it's just one of those ideas mulling around my head, like all the others. Hippie Nazi, dude. Like I could be like totally, like save our people, dude. 1488, man. Yeah. It's quite funny. I'm gonna have to develop that character. I think it's funny. Let's move on here. It's not his fault that he made an inspirational speech. I've met the type, super leftist hippie types that are super nationalistic. It's kind of interesting. I guess things. What is it like? Things get so far left that they turn right or something. Is it that? Is that what that is? Like it's a type of a circle or something. I don't know. I'm just tired of like how everybody's a troglodyte. Like nobody reads, nobody researches. They just take the canned opinions of like whoever, whatever culture that they're in. They don't like just. It's a ship of fools. You know, heading towards the rocks. Um, Hippie Nazi would be unique. Only thing I think of it is equality when thinking of that group. They are very confusing people because you don't know where their beliefs end or begin. Fascinating point. Yep, eventually it comes full circle. So, oh, we got one more. No. Um, okay, I'll give you kind of like an example. Like there's this one dude on the dance music scene that's nice. He's a nice guy, he's a white hippie dude. When I say hippie, I mean more like the modern hippie type, which are the guys that, they're into like EDM, drum and bass, uh, like heavy drug users, extreme political, like he'd be a kind of guy that's could potentially be Antifa. You'd see him like he'll be wearing like a trans uh shirt of some kind, with he's not trans, but he's like, trying to show everybody how supportive he is, like this is dumbass shit. Just to be, like, "Oh, I'm so cool," but yeah, like when you talk to the guy, he just he's kind of scared, he's just sort of nervous. He's like social anxiety, you know, and he just wants to fit in, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the thing of this is just they're just young people that want to fit in, and they're just kind of doing whatever is popular at the time. They don't actually believe these things. It's just a t-shirt to them in a sense, you know what I mean? Um it's stupid, yeah, but it's in a way it's kind of harmless in a way, because it's just like, yeah, man, equal rights for trans, let them go into children's bathrooms and shit, man. Like just it's dumb as shit. But it's all about conformity. That's what I'm getting down to. T-Rad says, I am working to compile a reading list, book sources used to create beliefs on science, philanthropy before the civil rights became Western God. Fascinating. Wow. That sounds like a great project. An NPC survival technique, precisely. Here's another interesting factoid I just read about is that I guess they have some kind of measurement system for emotional energy. I know that sounds kind of wild, but it's science. Anyway, and they found out that they thought that like love would have the highest energy. Turns out authenticity has the highest energy. It has like 400 times the energy of love. That's crazy. It's like, wow, that's an interesting thing, and like in terms of like people respond to, excuse me, to authenticity much better than they do to love, like 400 times more. It has more kind of social currency to it, and what is authenticity but honesty and truth, and that's what this movement's all about, is getting to the truth. And granted, there can be different names for truth. There can be different frames through which you see most or half or part of the truth. But it's being a truth seeker and a truth speaker, seeker and speaker. Wow, gonna write a song here. Splatter says civil rights becoming the Western God. A very interesting way of putting it. I agree that's what it's become. You are really, really onto something, dude. I strongly support this. I think this is an excellent endeavor. So I'm really excited to hear what you do with this. It'll be very exciting. Um, yeah, because it's that whole like equality God thing, that's going on, and it's like I don't know. I mean, you guys already know. It's just like it's everything. You know what I mean? Like everything revolves around this mission of like we must force equality on everybody, and which is obviously communist. It's just equity, all that horse shit. Um, but yeah, getting back to like the content and stuff. there's, I guess for me, what it like, streaming and publishing, all of this stuff. Um, it's always a matter of time and energy. You're working full time. You come home, yeah, and it's like, okay, now do your shit. Do your stuff. Do your art. And you got to eat, and after you eat, you're tired, and so it's like, okay, when can I eat? I can only eat like breakfast and lunch or something, or you got to organize all that shit so that you've got energy to do this. But then, oh shit, well, there's laundry and dishes and grocery shopping, and just, I know that sounds probably insane to be like, can't, why are you complaining about just basic things? But yeah, I mean, when I'm rich, I will just hire someone to do all those mundane activities so that I can do what's important. So shut up. Um, but yeah, the whole civil rights thing is just a big ghost. I mean, it's, people need rights or whatever. I'm not sort of going there, but it's just all part of the grand narrative of white man bad. Like, in order to eradicate racism and inequality, we must eradicate white people. That's the true message. That is the true meaning of it. Built up over so long. Yeah. So anyway, I might take a little aside an aside to show you this cool graphic novel that I got and talk about something in it that is relevant to our culture. All right, so why don't I do that for a second? Let's see. Civil rights. Civil rights becoming the Western God, a very interesting way of putting it. I agree that's what it's become. I go to local library and the entirety of shelves is astroturfed for modern thought. Yeah, so that's a whole other problem is just access to information. I feel like you can't the stuff we say and know and read and like our stuff is not in libraries. The libraries are run by fat liberal women who have no, who have cats. You understand? Or like effeminate men that are just trying to avoid getting yelled at by those women. It's like it's not where you're going to find free thought. Um, it just I don't have any faith in that. But moving on, let me show you something cool. We didn't say communism anymore. It's communitarian, the Kabbalistic synthesis. Are you serious? You can't say communism anymore? I've heard of communitarian, but I didn't think it was communism. So let's do a little comic book nerd out here for a second. So a while back, I picked up a graphic novel. Oh, I can't remember the damn name of it. Something ninja. It's like a kind of a cyberpunk, quasi Western Eastern ninja motorcycle guy, who is like, has like a hot chick girlfriend, some shit. It's a fun book. It's a really, really, really exquisite book. But why it's so good is because of Sean Murphy. This freaking guy is amazing. Like I hate myself after looking at his art. You know? You've heard that before, where like, people who like artists that they see other artists and they're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not doing art anymore, like he's that guy. Um it's kind of my new favorite guy. I just put it kind of like that. So I'm nerding out a lot on his work. He's got it all. He's got it all. He's got composition. He's got inking. He's got style. He's got a kind of a cinematic flair to his work. It's just like over the top. His architecture, His backgrounds are off the charts. Um, and I'm not saying like I want to be exactly like this guy. I'm gonna copy his style. I don't. That's faggotry. You don't do that. You be the best version of yourself. You can be influenced by him. For example, what's his what's Klaus Janson is a famous comic book inker. We're going to talk about him in a minute. So you know, this guy's been around since I was a kid, Klaus Janson, and I might as well just show you some of his work. It's in here as well, and it's much more crude compared to Murphy's work. Um, but the Klaus Janson did make a lot of headway in the world of inking, and he's one of the big guys, in comics history and art. So whatever. My point is that Sean Murphy was influenced by his inking, and then you know kind of brought it into his own work. So this is stunning. Look at what an incredible composition this is. So usually you see Batman on top of the gargoyles looking over Gotham City, but here you've got the Joker with this like ridiculously long gun that has like the bang flag that comes out of it. So it's just cool. I don't know, just there's something cool about like the kind of like the army boots with the tweed pants that he's known for, the smile, the whole thing, but then these gorgeous cityscapes. Putting in the I forget what it's called, when they signal, the bat signal, that kind of adds a little extra intrigue to it. It's the underlighting coming up with the shadow on the wall here and coming up here. It's freaking cool. Harley Quinn and Joker being lovers, you can see there's a certain energy there. But just like the boldness of this uh, composition, is really, really strong. And then something interesting, like a little hidden aspect here. We have another person that looks to be in the shadow or the reflection of the Joker. Just really cool stuff. Um, it's so much nicer to see it in black and white too. I feel like that has a certain. You get to actually see the work more clearly. Like, and when I say the work, like the art, the penciling, the inking, the ink wash, the tone, freaking sick. Let's move on. Day-to-day local library. I don't say communitarian. Oh, communist anymore. It's communism. I need books written before 1950 to put in front of children to open a cleaner avenue for thought and creativity. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just armies and armies of leftists that are just rehashing each other's ideas and putting out books and books and books and books and books. And it's just this gigantic corporate echo chamber. The corporatization of history, the corporatization of, I guess, like thought itself, Western thought, American thought, in terms of like, putting it in these like, McDonald's boxes where it's like you can have the cheeseburger, you can have a double cheeseburger, you can have it with fries, you can have it with the sauce and da da da. It's just the same shit. It's the same fucking meat. You know what I'm saying? Which is just you know filled with chemicals or whatever. And it's harsh. You go back to say the guy is his name is slipping my mind. There was he ran for president, Dewey something. It was like in the 1930s. He was running for president. He was a fascist, Christian nationalist, and a Jew assassinated him. Huey Long, not Dewey, Huey Long. So like this guy is a really big deal in American history. Does anybody know who Huey Long is? No, of course not. Because why? Oh, wait a minute. Who's controlling what books go into schools? Why don't we know who he is? Why don't we know that he was assassinated by a Jew? What was this Jew's affiliation? Why did he assassinate? You see where I'm going with that? Like, um, I think they need to have a biopic of Joseph McCarthy. There should be a biographical movie on the life of Joseph McCarthy. It's time. It is time for that. He was one of the most demonized people. I remember growing up and seeing clips of him always framed, in any kind of like TV news or in high school or whatever, where it's like, oh, the communist scare and look at these paranoid, crazy nationalists. Like it's a witch hunt. Ooh, it's a witch hunt. And look at this terrible person, Joseph McCarthy, trying to use and calling everybody a communist in the government. Look at these crazy right wingers. Oh, look how stupid they are. Now we're free to have, foreign interests running our government. Anyway, I am not talking about Sean Murphy very much, am I? So, long story short, I'm learning, and I listened to a really, really great interview with Sean Murphy not long ago. Where I'm going with all this is that in the back of this book, there's one story. I mean, this is a phenomenal Batman story. Um, you know, uh, it's off the charts. It's like kick ass. But for some reason, at the back of the book, there is this Klaus Janson story, and I don't really. I'm kind of like. And anyway, before the story, there's this like what do you call it? Like kind of like a little interview, not interview, like a statement basically by Sean Murphy saying like, Klaus Janson was my hero when I was coming up, and like, and I got to meet him, and I became friends with him, and like, oh my God, I'm nerding out, and this is a big deal, and got super close and shared our personal problems, and on and on and on. And it turns out that Klaus Janson, his family immigrated from Germany to escape the Nazis, and that's how he came to New York, and blah blah blah, and you know and he feels really bad and really guilty about his German heritage. And so I asked him, did you ever do a story about Nazis? No, well, we got to do a story about Nazis because everybody wants to do a story about Nazis. Yeah, those bad guys. And so, sure enough, right at the end of the story, got to keep that narrative going. You know, I mean, these are people who get their history from fucking Hollywood, nowhere else. I mean, yeah, we grew up with this shit in high school, but there was, what's his name? Gris, I can never say her first name. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's girlfriend, who was part of the human trafficking pedo Epstein Island world. So, and was at like Hillary Clinton's daughter's wedding and all this other shit. Her father, who is a Mossad agent, owned one of the biggest book companies, publishers for children's books, for school books. It's I'm not like expressing this very clearly, but anyway, the point is a Mossad agent, all through my childhood, and I'm sure these books are still in circulation, and are the foundation of like American history books in schools, is a freaking Mossad agent. What does that effing tell you? So anyway, it's just sad. But anyway, I don't hate this guy for, I don't hate Klaus Janson. I don't hate Sean Murphy for believing the lies that we all believed in, that we were taught, that we trusted our teachers, we trusted the news, we trusted our presidents, we trusted the government, the system, everything. But now we're in the age of information. Yes, there's a little thing called the internet, and for now, it's still free. For now, you can go to goyimtv.tv, and you can go to archive.org, and you can look up Parsifal, the hidden causes of World War II. You can look up Europa, the last battle, and you can sit down and get a real education on the true history of World War II, from which all of the major narratives that we live by, and policies, and our very cultural narrative, our very sense of our own identity, is based on that. you know. And then you can start your journey to put the dots together. You know what I'm saying? But this made me want to throw up when I saw this. I was like, man, I'm so into this. I'm so into this. I got a new favorite artist that I love and kick ass. And like, I don't really, I don't have to agree with the politics of an artist to love their art. So I'm not like that guy or whatever. Um, Bill Sienkiewicz is one of my favorite artists. The guy is freaking phenomenal. I just can't say enough praise about him. But he's a total woke leftard. He's a complete leftard. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that's true, and it's sad. You know, and I feel like maybe I can give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe with proper education, he could grow out of that or something. But it isn't even about facts. It's about conformity. It's about being the top of the pyramid of, like, the culture that you're trying to be a part of. It's about saving yourself from being ostracized from your friends. It's about saving yourself from losing your job. You gotta toe the line. You gotta toe the line. That's a hell of a lot to fight against. You know what I mean? Just to say the truth. Oh, can't we just not say the truth? Can we just go under the radar? Anyway, getting back to the content or the comments, we don't. T-Rad Dad says I can't see any distinct difference in 1920s communism and 2020's liberal democracy. So that's the whole thing. You just slap another label on it. It's kind of like I saw this video. I don't know if I think it was in India, and they were like just some street urchin worker dudes with, like, shorts and a wife beater shirt on, and they're filling up water bottles, like the kind that you would sell in the store, through with like a hose from a spigot. And they're basically putting some shitty tap water into water bottles that would then go into a store and be sold as like, oh, that's pure water, that's fresh water. Look, can't you see the label? Can't you see the label? Um, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, this is how the Prince of Lies, the King of Lies works, and his minions. It's like slap another label on it, and you're off and running. What I hate is not the liars, but our people for being assholes, for being losers and idiots and weak. I finally come to the painful realization that whites would rather conform and be lazy than do the research and rebel. And so, like, as far as I can tell, America, that the America that we knew for whatever what we had is gone and will never come back. However, as Jared Taylor's recent video was was talking about, we can and must take some areas and preserve them and make them our own. You know what I'm saying? How that happens, whatever it takes to make that happen, I don't know. And I know that that's like Fed posty talk, from somebody's perspective. Um, I don't know, guys. This is what's up in the world today. So anyway, I'm just, I look at this artwork and I'm like, damn, I got a long way to go. I don't hate my art, but I feel like there's got to be much more to it. I guess a lot of it is like the time thing. If I did this for a living, and I was able to pay my mortgage from it, hell yeah, like great. I would put in, hours, and I would like painstakingly, like, okay, I have to put every stitch on his sweater in there. It's like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like every single window on that building in the background. Every single brick on that house. Every single notch on that gun. Every single, plus like speed lines and cool shadows and all, uh, but that's what makes this great work. Um, the other thing I've been thinking about is going digital, is like getting past my hatred of working on a like a digital screen, and actually, I mean, it's, I don't know how much money. It's like $2,000 for like a proper, you know, uh, tablet that I could work on. And there is a new iPad Pro out that looks phenomenal. It's much more than just like comics. Like you can do all kinds of AI and animation and music, and like I could do everything on that thing. Um, that's like, dear Santa, I have been a very good boy this year, and don't ask YouTube, but I actually am a good boy. You know. Mm, anyway, so what do we got here? The Great White Ape says Irving has had his years of work about World War II. Very good point. Very good point. David Irving, is that his name? What's his first name? The British guy. He died like. Did he die? That was like an internet meme, maybe a rumor, but I know who you're talking about. Has had his years of work about World War II taken away and put on no-fly lists. He apparently lectures still in small groups. People are vetted. So, I mean, this is the thing I try to tell people is like, do you want to know the truth? Okay, then look for the most extremely censored information you can find. That's the fucking truth, because like, I don't know, people just can't conceive of how bad things really are, you know, and like they don't want to know. They don't want to know. I mean, it's terrifying. How do you sleep at night? But what can I tell you? Can't get better if you don't call it out. Um, Irving is phenomenal too. Yeah, he's amazing. It seems like back in like the VHS days, there was much more. Uh, there was just more information, about exposing World War II, exposing the big hoax. You know what I'm talking about. Um, and like every once in a while, an interview will come up of like a rabbi who's talking about, yeah, we have blood sacrifice, and we do our rituals, Kabbalah, something, something, and then we chop up the child and we sell their meat to the local, uh, you know, Hamburg store, and like make you goyim eat your own, children. Ha 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 ha, and they think it's funny. I mean, this is a rabbi telling you that this is what we do. I mean, they let the little secrets out. They let their little secrets out here and there and here and there, and then again, it's the age of information. It's the internet, and there you are. There you go. And now you know. If you don't know, now you know. When I see pages like this, I'm like, okay, that's a beautiful page, but why is there all this dead space here? Why didn't you utilize that? Like, to me, I'm like, oh, it's graphic design, like it's blank space. I don't really like, doesn't function. I would have done something with it. I just can't. I can't have big dead spaces on my page. I mean, so like here, for example, that's a big black space. There's no art there. Well, that's because there's a word balloon going there that functions, right? It has a function to it here and here. Um, so there you go. I guess I'll maybe wrap it up. Probably. Um, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. I'll probably go do some chores, get some cleaning done. But anyway, Sean Murphy, most awesome comic book artist. There's a lot of good ones out there. He's not like the only one. But big fan, big fan. Anyway, keep on rocking in the free world, guys. Donald Kent is back. I will endeavor to get the Rumble thing going and make announcements on that and stuff. So, yeah, all right. Good seeing you guys again, and we will see you next time. Cheers.